Good day, everyone. Today we're going to be making a traditional Caribbean food. We're going to be making ackee and salt fish, or fish cakes, or whatever you want to do with it. It's going to be up to you. We're going to start with the ackee, and that ackee recipe can be found in my book, Vegan Flavors of the Caribbean. That is available everywhere books are stored. There's also an ebook on Amazon. So what we're going to do, I'm using canned ackee. Fresh ackee is harder to find in my country than maybe if you're in Jamaica or somewhere like that. So what I'm going to be using for the ackee is sweet pepper, so green and red, some tomatoes. I have this is about a cup of sweet pepper. This is about half cup of tomatoes, about 3 cloves of chopped garlic, 1 medium onion. I have some star anise powder, about half a teaspoon, and I have about a teaspoon of salt. That's going to be to taste. Now, when you're using ackee, somebody's going to light a fire. The ackee can turn into a scrambled ackee very easily, so I'm not going to do a lot of movements on that. But what I'm going to do is add everything to the pan one time. And if you can't see me in the video adding it, don't worry. You're not going to be able to smell all the deliciousness right there. So my pan is empty. Everything is in there. And I'm going to cook what's in the pan now. Let me show you. So I just dump everything in there. And I'm going to cook this for about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add my ackee. So while I'm doing that, I want to go ahead and show you how I'm going to do the vegan fish cakes first. So what I have in here is some artichoke, about half a can, and half a can of heart of palm. I have some sweet pepper, about 3/4 of a cup. I have quite a few thyme leaves, and this is fresh thyme leaves from my garden. It's like a tablespoon. I have some salt. I have 1 onion, and I have about 3 cloves of chopped garlic. What I'm also going to add there is some fish seasoning, and this is my own fish seasoning, my own recipe that I grounded here. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of this fish seasoning to this. And I am going to go ahead.
That's a teaspoon.
Whilst this is on the fire, remember, you just have to stir this a little bit. And by the way, I didn't add any oil to this pan, so this is actually going to be an oil-free recipe for ackee. So here I have continue for my fish cakes. I have some of these little tiny kelp sheets. This was the only thing available to me. And so I'm going to put in a couple of them, and all I'm going to do is roughly tear them and just drop them in here, just to add some of the flavor of the sea to this. So I'm just going to put them in and roughly tear them. Then I'm just going to grab a spoon and give everything a good mix together. So you could put how much ever of these kelp sheets you want in here. So that's completely up to you. I might add a few more. So far I have about 7 sheets in here. To this mixture, I'm going to add a little bit of gluten flour. So just to hold everybody together, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of gluten flour, something like that, just about. Now remember that the pan of ackee that I had these vegetables cooking here, right, and just cooking a little bit. It's been about a minute and a half, something like that. So again, give everything a cool stir, just to make sure everything is nicely coated here. And then I made some mayonnaise. So you can go ahead and do whatever you like. You can use a store-bought mayo. But I have some fresh mayo. And I'm actually going to put, that's about half a cup. So let me see what that gives me here. So that's a pretty nice consistency for mock fish cakes. Now I have some lime juice, and I'm just going to add this. I'm going to turn on this fire a little bit. I'm going to add about, so this is about just half a squish of lime. Right? And then give it another quick stir. And I'm going to form these into patties in a moment. I'm just going to allow it to rest for a while. Now whilst that's going on, my pan vegetables have reduced nicely down to this nice little stir. And I am just going to take my ackee and I'm just going to add it to it. And again, I don't want to stir this much, because if I stir it much, this is all going to become crumbly. And it's fine if you want a mashed ackee. Just turn down your fire a little bit to low. A slight stir, just to get the ackee involved with those things. And then let the ackee cook for another 3 minutes. So now that I have these mock fish cakes, if you're feeling like that here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this parchment paper. And this recipe is oil-free as well, as long as you had a oil-free meal, right? And now you can also dip this into like a breadcrumb if you want that look, but I'm just going to do it just as is. So I'm going to take some in my hand, form a little patty just like that, rest it on there. And these, I'm going to bake them. You can fry them if you prefer, or you can pop them in an air fryer to give them a nice crust. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some of these, and this is going to make me about 8 of them. And again, you can always put this in a batter if you wanted. So in a breadcrumb or in a cornmeal batter, anything like that is fine. Well, it made me just short of, and it's kind of a messy recipe, right? It made me just short of, you can wear gloves if you don't want to be this messy. It made me short of 8 because I made bigger patties. But I'm just going to pop that into the oven in a moment. Just washing my hands off. Very nice. So I'm just going to give my ackee another little stir. But not too much, because remember, I don't want it to overcook. Very nice. Oh, I'm also going to add a little bit of honey to my ackee. You could add agave. Remember, I'm a Christian vegan, so I use honey because the Bible says a little honey is good for your stomach's sake. The reason why I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey or so to this dish right now is because when the ackee is in the citric acid in the thin, it gets a little bit too lemony. So this helps to balance that. But if you're using fresh ackee, you don't have to use this at all. You could just skip this step. So a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of honey. And yes, you can use a coconut sugar and agave or anything like that if you want to. Okay, so let me just pop this into the oven. Now I'm going to make mock saltfish. And I have very similar ingredients in here. So I have the artichoke, half a tin, and the oh yeah, I'm gonna pop it in the oven just now. And I have half of the palm hearts, and I have some tomatoes. So again, half a can, maybe 3/4 cup of tomatoes, a teaspoon of fresh thyme, a tablespoon of minced garlic, and a whole onion, and salt to taste. So I'm just gonna dump this again into the pan, so everything goes into the pan. I'm going to use a tablespoon or so of my fish seasoning, or maybe less. So maybe half a tablespoon. Again, these things are just up to you, and this is my own, so you can use whatever is available to you. And then again, I'm going to tear some sheets of this kelp into here, and again, roughly do it. You can grind it and add it. You can do it however you want. I just kind of like this rough method because it's just easier for me. But whatever you want to do is fine. So again, I'm putting in about 7 in here. And I'm just going to cook that. In the meantime, my ackee is looking really nice. I'm going to take that off the fire. And I'm going to go ahead and put now that mock saltfish on the fire. And I'm going to tell you how it comes out in a moment. It has tomatoes in it, but I like my things a little bit more lemony, so I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice to that as well. Again, maybe half of a lime. And this too is going to be cooking without oil, and so I'm going to have to watch it. So let me let it cook, and then I'll come back to show you how everything looks. All right. Well, I'm back. The my mother is behind the camera today helping me. It's just funny. Today's been an interesting day. Okay, so I'm back. The ackee was finished, and the mock saltfish. So can you see what this looks like? And I'm serving it traditionally with bake. In Guyana, that's what we would serve it with. Of course, you can serve it with breadfruit, you can serve it with rice, you can serve it with whatever you like. But can you see what that looks like? It looks really good, and it actually will taste excellently as well. So this is something, if you're craving, you know, traditional Caribbean, the thunder is thundering, because in this rainforest here, we're gonna have quite a bit of rain. So in a moment, and you will not be able to hear me. So I just wanted to show you how the mock saltfish came out by itself. You know, I plated it there. It looks nice, but let me just show you. Can you see that? Yeah, so it actually looks like the real thing, and it smells, the house smells like if you're cooking fish. So again, I'm going to show you a picture of the mock fish cakes when they come out of the oven. But remember, do pick up a copy of my book too. It's going to be Christmas. It's a great gift idea. Vegan flavors of the Caribbean. And then you too can go ahead and cook something that looks so delicious and so good. So enjoy from my jungle kitchen to yours.